How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, April 14th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Wednesday, April 13th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Taking a quick step back and looking at where we are as we are nearly halfway through the fourth month of the calendar year. We are in the play-in round of the NBA playoffs, as only two of the four teams that needed to be eliminated before the first round have been eliminated. The last couple games are going to be played tomorrow, right before we get settled into this first round of the NBA playoffs. Taking a look at what's going on with baseball, teams are entering their third series of the year as we are in the very beginning of that year, as the MLB season is going to be going on until the fall. Not to mention going on with soccer overseas, we are through the quarterfinal round of Champions League. After the second day of the second leg, would see two more teams get eliminated and would see two British teams making it into Champions League, as they are going to be making it through alongside two Spanish teams. Either a Spanish or an English team is going to win Champions League this year. Not to mention that at the end of the month, the hockey season will come to an end, and I will get into the Stanley Cup playoffs. With that said, I'm going to start off with what happened in the NBA yesterday, as both 9-10 matchups were being played to see who would face off against the loser of the 7-8 games in the West and the East. Starting off in the East Conference, the 9-seed Atlanta Hawks would host the 10-seed Charlotte Hornets after both teams finished with the same exact record. In this matchup, the Hawks would beat the Hornets 132-103 to advance to that second play-in game. They won this game by 29 after they outscored the Hornets by 9 in the first. They outscored the Hornets by 18 points in the third quarter as well, outscoring them by at least 20 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Charlotte Hornets were led in scoring in their final game of the season by their elite starting point guard LaMelo Ball. At the end of his very first All-Star season, he would finish it with 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 7 for 25 from the field, 4 for 14 from 3, and 8 for 10 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard, Terry Rozier, finished with 21 points and 5 turnovers in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 22 from the field, and he would make all 3 of his free throws on the night. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Atlanta Hawks were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard out of Oklahoma, Trae Young. He finished with 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 11 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 8 for 24 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Their starting center, Clint Capella, will go on to finish with 15 points, 17 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 29 minutes. He shot 6 for 9 from the field. With this win, the hometown Atlanta Hawks will go into the next round of this play-in tournament. They are set to face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow at 7:30 on ESPN. The winner of that matchup will face off against the 1-seed Miami Heat in the first round of the playoffs. Looking at the second 9-10 matchup, I guess before I get to that, with this loss, the Charlotte Hornets will finish their record tied with the Atlanta Hawks for the 9th best record in the regular season, as they are getting ready to go into this offseason ready to make some moves. So that is where the Hornets are sitting, as they are the first team eliminated from the play-in picture. Following that, the 9-seed New Orleans Pelicans would host the 10-seed San Antonio Spurs for this 9-10 matchup. The first team that will be eliminated from the West Conference would be the San Antonio Spurs after the Pelicans beat them 113-103 in front of their home fans. Pelicans won this game by 10 after they outscored the Spurs by 11 in the first half and then by another 6 in the third quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the San Antonio Spurs were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard Devin Vassell. He finished with 23 points in 37 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field as all of his makes came from 3. He shot 7 for 13 from 3 and made both of his free throws. Their all-star point guard, DeJounte Murray, would finish his very first all-star season with a 16-point, 9 rebound, and 5 assist outing in 34 minutes. He shot 5 for 19 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws. On the winning end of this matchup, the 9-seed New Orleans Pelicans were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard and midseason acquisition from Portland, CJ McCollum. He finished with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 12 for 23 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws. Their elite starting small forward out of Duke, Brandon Ingram, finished with 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in 30 minutes. He shot 11 for 19 from the field and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Their starting center, Jonas Valanciunas, finished with 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 36 minutes. He shot 9 for 14 from the field. With this win, the 9-seed New Orleans Pelicans will advance to the second play-in game where they will face off against the Los Angeles Clippers in Los Angeles on TNT tomorrow at 10 o'clock, if I didn't mention that earlier. The winner of that matchup will face off against the Phoenix Suns in the first round after the Phoenix Suns finish the regular season with the best record in the NBA, the only team to win at least 60 games this season. So that is what the NBA playoffs or the play-in round is looking like. As there is no basketball today, it will resume tomorrow, as of course the teams that won have to make their flight out to Cleveland and Los Angeles respectfully. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB, starting off in Atlanta, the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves hosted the Washington Nationals. The Nationals would beat the Braves 3-1, scoring all 3 of their runs before the Braves scored their lone run in the 6th. On the losing end of this matchup, the defending champs were led out by their starting pitcher Max Fried. The World Series champ would allow 3 runs off of 7 hits in the 5.1 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4, and with this loss, the Atlanta Braves are 0-2. In the Braves batting lineup, their third baseman Austin Riley would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run, as he would go on to hit his second home run of the game. That was the only Braves run of the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the Washington Nationals were led out by their starting pitcher, Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray would pick up his first win of the 2022 season as he allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would walk 3 batters and strike out 5, as with his win, he's now 1-1. The save, however, would go to the Nats closer, Tanner Rainey. Rainey would allow no earned runs and 1 hit in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This is now his second save of the year. In the Nationals batting lineup, their second baseman Cesar Hernandez went 2 for 4 with a run. Their first baseman Josh Bell went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Alongside them, their third baseman Michael Franco went 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Washington Nationals are now 3-4. They are tied with the Atlanta Braves for the third best record in the National League East. Both these teams now trail the New York Mets by 2 games in the division, as that's where the Braves are sitting as well. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians would beat Cincinnati 7-3 after scoring 6 runs from the second through the 5th inning before the Reds would score at all. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Cincinnati Reds were led out pitching by their starting pitcher Nick Lodolo. Lodolo would allow 5 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 and walk 3, and with this loss, he's now 0-1. In the Reds batting lineup, their right fielder Tyler Naquin would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their catcher in this particular matchup, Tyler Stevenson, would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his second home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the Cleveland Guardians were led out by their starting pitcher, Tristan McKenzie. McKenzie would allow no earned runs and 3 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched, as he would strike out 6. The win for Cleveland will go to their first relief pitcher, Eli Morgan. Morgan allowed 1 earned run off of 1 hit in the 3 innings that he pitched, as he would pitch the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, picking up 4 strikeouts along the way. With this win, Eli Morgan is 1-0 on the 2022 season. In the Guardians batting lineup, their center fielder Miles Straw will go 4 for 5 with a run. Their elite third baseman Jose Ramirez will go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run, as he hit his 3rd home run of the season and his 3rd double of the year. Their first baseman Owen Miller will go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs, as he hit his 1st and 2nd home runs of the year. The Cleveland Guardians outfielder, their right fielder, Oscar Mercado, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this home run, he hit his he would go on to hit his third home run of the season. With this win, the Cleveland Guardians are 4-2. That is the second best record in the American League Central, as they are currently trailing the the reigning American League Central champs, Chicago White Sox, by half a game in the division. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are 2-4. That is the worst record in the National League Central. They have lost their last 2 games. At the moment, they are trailing the St. Louis Cardinals, leading the division by about 2 whole games. Taking a look at what happened in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates would host the Chicago Cubs. The Pirates would end up beating the Cubs 6-2 after scoring all 6 of their runs in the first 4 innings. There were no runs scored in the game after the 4th. On the losing end of this matchup, the Chicago Cubs were led out by their starting pitcher, Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks allowed 6 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 3.2 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 and walk 4 before he was pulled in the 4th inning. With this loss, Kyle Hendricks is 0-1. In the Cubs batting lineup, their catcher, Wilson Contreras, went 2-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his very first home run of the season for Chicago. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Pittsburgh Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, Zach Thompson. Thompson allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 3 on the day. The win for Pittsburgh would go to their first relief pitcher, Dylan Peters. He allowed no earned runs off of and no hits in the 2 innings that he pitched, as he would strike out 2 and even walk a batter. With this win, Peters is 1-0. The save for the Pirates would go to Will Crowe. Will Crowe would allow no earned runs and 1 hit in the final 3 innings of the game, as he would strike out 4 and pick up a walk. With this is his very first save of the year. In the Pirates batting lineup, their designated hitter in this matchup, Daniel Vogelbach, went 2-for-4. Their third baseman, Ke'Bryan Hayes, would go 4-for-2 with an RBI and 2 runs, as he would go on to hit a double alongside 3 singles. And with this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 2-3. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are 3-2. That is the 2nd best record in the National League Central, as they now trail the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals by half a game at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Philly, the top 2 teams in the National League East going in would face off, as the Phillies hosted the New York Mets. The Mets would beat the Phillies 9-6, scoring 8 of their runs from the 3rd through the 6th inning. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Philadelphia Phillies were led out by their starting pitcher, Aaron Nola. Nola allowed 3 earned runs off of 3 hits in 3.1 innings pitched. He would walk 3 and he would strike out 5. With this loss, he's now 1-1. In the Phillies batting lineup, their elite left fielder, Nick Castellanos, went 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, the reigning National League MVP, went 1-for-3 with an RBI and 2 runs, as he would go on to hit his very first home run of the season. Phillies first baseman, Johan Camargo, would end up going 2-for-4, and then their third baseman, Bryson Stott, would end up going 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs. On the winning end of this matchup, the New York Mets were led out by their goated starting pitcher, Max Scherzer. The former Cy Young winner in the American League and National League would allow 1 earned run off of 5 hits in 5 innings pitched. He would walk 3 batters and strike out 7. With this win, Max Scherzer is 2-0. In the Mets batting lineup, their right fielder, Starling Marte, went 2-for-5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their elite designated hitter, Pete Alonso, went 3-for-5 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit 2 doubles, and he would go on to hit his second home run of the season. With this win, the New York Mets are 5-2. That is the best record in the National League East. They are the only team in the MLB with 5 wins so far. They are sitting a game and a half ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies, as the Mets are sporting a 2-game win streak. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 3-3. That is the 2nd best record in the National League East. With their 2-game losing streak, they sit a game and a half behind the division-leading New York Mets. Taking a look at what happened in Detroit, the Tigers would host the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox would end up beating the Tigers 9-7. They won this game by 2 after a big 4th inning, which saw them score 6 runs. That would be a very big outing for them. But taking a look at how Detroit would fare on the losing end, at home, they were led out by their starting pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez would allow 7 runs off of 5 hits in the 3.2 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 3. With this loss, Eduardo Rodriguez is 0-1 for Detroit. Detroit. In the Tigers batting lineup, their left fielder Austin Meadows went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their shortstop Harold Castro went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. And then their first baseman Spencer Torkelson would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Torkelson would hit his very first home run of the season in the 7th inning. On the winning end of this matchup, the Boston Red Sox were led out by their starting pitcher, Nathan Eovaldi. He would allow 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would walk a batter and strike out 6. With this win, Eovaldi is 1-0. The save would go to the Red Sox closer Hansel Robles. Robles allowed no earned runs as he would finish off the 8th inning and pitch the entire 9th. He would strike out 1 batter on the day, and he would pick up his very first save of the 2022 season. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their center fielder Kike Hernandez went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He was the only Red Sox player to hit a home run as he hit his first of the season. Their elite second baseman Trevor Story would go 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their first baseman Bobby Dalbec went 2 for 5 with 2 runs, and then their right fielder Jackie Bradley Jr. went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 3-3. They are tied with the New York Yankees for the 3rd best record in the American League East. They are with a 2-game winning streak. The Red Sox, alongside the Yankees, are sitting a full game behind the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays, who are tied at the top of the division. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are 2-4. They are tied with the Minnesota Twins for the worst record in the American League Central on a 2-game losing streak. Both of these teams are trailing the Chicago White Sox by 2.5 games in the division at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Minneapolis, the Twins would host the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers would shut the Twins out 7-0, only allowing 1 hit all game. The loss was picked up by the Twins starting pitcher Chris Paddack. Paddack would allow 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters, and with this loss, Chris Paddack is 0-1. In the Twins batting lineup, the only player to register a hit was their catcher Gary Sanchez, and that would be attributed to great pitching from the Dodgers. The win was given to their goated starting pitcher, former Cy Young winner, multiple-time Cy Young winner, and former National League MVP. Clayton Kershaw would allow no earned runs and no hits in all 7 innings that he would pitch, as he would strike out 13 batters on the day and register no walks. With this win, Clayton Kershaw is 1-0 on the season. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite right fielder Mookie Betts would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their elite first baseman and reigning champion Freddie Freeman would go 2 for 5 on the day. Their elite center fielder and former MVP Cody Bellinger would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Bellinger hit his very first home run of the season yesterday as well. And then with this win, the LA Dodgers are 3-2. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they sit a full game behind the Colorado Rockies. They have 1 less win and 1 less loss than the San Diego Padres, so they're sitting about even with the Padres right now. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are 2-4. They are tied with the Detroit Tigers for the worst record in the American League Central. On a 2-game losing streak, the Twins are trailing the division-leading Chicago White Sox by 2.5 games at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the defending American League champs, Houston Astros. Going into the 10th inning, the score was tied at 1. The Astros would get the first run of extra innings, going up 2-1 off of an Alex Bregman sac fly. In the bottom of the 10th, Seth Beer would tie the game up off of a single into right field, and then Ketel Marte's sacrifice fly would give the Diamondbacks their 2nd win of the year. On the losing end of this matchup, the Houston Astros were led out by their starting pitcher, Framber Valdez. Valdez allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 3 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters and walk at 5. The loss for Houston would go to their closer for the day, Ryan Pressly. Pressly allowed 2 earned runs as he was unable to finish the 10th inning. He would walk 2 batters. He would pick up his first blown save of the year. And with this loss, Ryan Pressly is 0-1 on the 2022 season. In the Astros batting lineup, their elite second baseman Jose Altuve would go 2 for 5, and then their center fielder Chas McCormick would go 3 for 4 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Arizona Diamondbacks were led out by their starting pitcher Merrill Kelly. Kelly allowed no earned runs and 3 hits in the 5.1 innings that he pitched. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 6. The win for Arizona would go to their closer, Oliver Perez. Perez would allow no earned runs as he finished off the 10th inning, getting the last out. With this win, he's now 1-1. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, the only player to register more than one hit was their right fielder, Pavin Smith. He went 2 for 4 with a run. And with this win, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 2-4. That is the worst record in the National League West. They are sitting 2.5 games behind the division-leading Colorado Rockies. With this loss, the Houston Astros are 4-2. That is the best record in the American League West, and they are currently sitting a game ahead of the LA Angels and the Oakland Athletics, tied for the second best record in that division. Taking a look at what happened in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Giants would host the San Diego Padres. The Giants would end up beating the Padres 2-1 after they scored both their runs in the second inning off of a 2-run double from Luke Williams after the Padres scored their lone run of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the San Diego Padres were led out by their starting pitcher, Sean Manaea. Manaea would allow 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters and walk 2. With this loss, he's now 1-1 on the season. And in the Padres batting lineup, their second baseman, Jake Cronenworth, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown San Francisco Giants were led out by their starting pitcher, Logan Webb. He allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 8 innings that he pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, Logan Webb is 1-0. The save would go to the Giants closer, Camilo Doval. He would allow no earned runs and only 1 hit in the 9th inning as he struck out 2 and walked a batter. This would be his very first save of the season. In the Giants batting lineup, I guess with this win, no one in the Giants lineup would finish with more than 1 hit. But of course, both RBIs went to Luke Williams, their third baseman. He went 1 for 3, hitting his first double of the season, getting his 2 RBIs, his second and third of the season. Taking a look now at where the Giants are following this win, they are now 4-2. That is the second best record in the National League West. With a 2-game winning streak, they are sitting half a game behind the division-leading Colorado Rockies. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are 4-3. I'm currently sitting on a 2-game losing streak. They are sitting 1 full game behind the division-leading Colorado Rockies. They have 1 more win and 1 less loss than the Dodgers, so they're both sitting about even behind the Colorado Rockies. Taking a look at what was happening in Tampa Bay, the reigning AL East champs would host the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics would end up beating the Rays 4-2 after scoring 3 runs in the 3rd inning off of a home run from Sean Murphy. On the losing end of this matchup, the Tampa Bay Rays were let out by their starting pitcher, Shane McClanahan. McClanahan would allow 3 earned runs, 3 of the 4 runs they would allow off of 2 hits in 4.2 innings. He would strike out 8 batters and walk 3 before he was pulled in the 5th inning, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Rays batting lineup, their third baseman, Yandy Diaz, would end up going 3 for 4 with a run, and then their catcher, Francisco Mejia, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Oakland Athletics were led out by their starting pitcher, Frankie Montas. He allowed 2 runs off of 5 hits in 6.1 innings pitched. He would strike 6 batters out in that span before getting pulled in the 7th inning. With this win, Montas is 1-1. The save for Oakland would go to their closer, Lou Trevino. He allowed no earned runs off of only 1 hit in the 9th inning as he walked a batter. This is now his first save of the year. In the Athletics batting lineup, their catcher Sean Murphy would go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his very first home run of the season this year. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are 3-3. They are tied with the Los Angeles Angels for the second best record in the American League West. Both these teams are sitting 1 full game behind the defending American League champs Houston Astros in the division. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are 4-2. They are tied with the Toronto Blue Jays for the best record in the American League East. They both sit a full game ahead of the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees, who are tied for the 3rd best record in the division. Taking a look now at what happened in New York and the Bronx, the Yankees hosted the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays would end up beating the Yankees 6-4 after scoring the first 3 runs of the game. After the Yankees would tie it up at 3, they would see George Springer hit an RBI single in the 7th. And then after seeing Vlad Guerrero Jr. hit his 4th home run and Matt Chapman RBI single, Toronto would go on to win this very important game. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown New York Yankees were led out by their elite starting starting pitcher Garrett Cole. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters in that 6-inning span and walk 1 before he was pulled in the 6th inning. The loss for the Yankees was given to their first relief pitcher, Chad Green. He would pitch a full inning as he would walk a batter and allow a run. With this loss, he's now 0-1 for the Yankees. In the Yankees batting lineup, their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 3rd home run of the season yesterday. Their elite right fielder, Aaron Judge, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his very first home run of the season. Their elite third baseman, DJ LeMahieu, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their elite second baseman, Gleyber Torres, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his first home run of the season. The Yankee center fielder, Aaron Hicks, would go 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the Toronto Blue Jays were led out by their starting pitcher, Jose Barrios. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 3. The win for Toronto would go to their first relief pitcher, Adam Cimber. Adam Cimber would go on to allow no earned runs in the 6th inning. With this win, he's now 2-0. The save went to the Blue Jays closer, Jordan Romano. Romano would allow no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his 4th save of the season. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., would go 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs. He would hit his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th home runs of the season last night. And with this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now currently 4-2. They are tied with the Tampa Bay Rays for the best record in the American League East. They sit a full game ahead of the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees, who are tied for the 3rd best record in the division. And like I just said, the Yankees are now 3-3 following this loss. They are tied with the Boston Red Sox for the 3rd best record as they trail the Tampa Bay Rays and Toronto Blue Jays by a full game in the division. Taking a look at what happened in Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers would end up beating the Orioles 4-2. Score was tied at 2 going into the 9th inning. The Brewers would take a lead off of a Colton Wong RBI triple, and then a Rowdy Tellez double would, of course, double that lead. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Baltimore Orioles were led out by their starting pitcher, John Means. Means allowed 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would walk a batter and strike out 2. The loss for the Orioles went to their closer for the day, Jorge Lopez. Or their setup relief pitcher, who would start the 9th inning but not finish it. He would allow 2 earned runs and 3 hits in the 9th inning as he would be pulled within it. He would walk a batter and strike out 1. With this loss, Jorge Lopez is 0-1. Nobody in the Orioles batting lineup would register more than 1 hit and now be attributed to great pitching from the Brewers. The Brewers starting pitcher and former All-Star Corbin Burns would allow no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 7 innings that he pitched. He would walk a batter and strike out 8. The win was given to the Brewers' setup relief pitcher, Brad Boxberger. He allowed no earned runs in .2 innings as he finished off the 8th inning for Devin Williams, their elite closer. Boxberger would register a strikeout. Even though he would pick up a blown save, his first of the year, he would pick up his very first win of the season. With this win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to the Brewers' closer, Josh Hader. He would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he walked a batter. He would pick up his 3rd save of the year. In the Brewers' batting lineup, their first baseman, Rowdy Tellez, was the only player all game who had more than 1 hit. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he had his first and second doubles of the year. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 3-3. They are holding the 3rd best record in the National League Central. With a 2-game winning streak at the moment, they are trailing the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals by a full game. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 1-5. That is the worst record in the American League East. Having lost their last 2 games, they are trailing the division-leading Tampa Bay Rays and Toronto Blue Jays. The Texas Rangers are the only other team in the American League that only has 1 loss at this point in the season. Or they only have 1 win so far, as the Miami Marlins are the only team out east. And then taking a look at what happened in Chicago, the Chicago White Sox would host the Seattle Mariners. The White Sox would end up beating the Mariners 6-4 after scoring 4 runs in the 2nd inning, off of a lot of all-around good play. On the losing end of this matchup, the Seattle Mariners were led out by their elite starting pitcher, the reigning American League Cy Young winner, Robbie Ray. Ray would allow 6 earned runs off of 10 hits in 6.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 2 before he was pulled in the 7th inning. With this loss, Robbie Ray is 1-1 on the year. In the Mariners batting lineup, their shortstop J.P. Crawford would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Chicago White Sox were led out by their starting pitcher, Dallas Keuchel. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, he's now 1-0, and the save would go to their closer, Liam Hendriks. He allowed 1 run in the 9th inning as he allowed 2 hits, and he would strike out 2. This would be his second save of the year for Chicago. In the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop Tim Anderson went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his 3rd double of the season and his first home run of the year. Their designated hitter Andrew Vaughn would go 2 for 3 with a run. And then their third baseman Jake Burger would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 4-1. That is the best record in the American League Central, and win percentage-wise, they're the only one-loss team that is remaining in the American League. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Colorado Rockies are the other 2 teams in the MLB that have 1 loss so far. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are 2-4. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. On a 4-game losing streak, the Seattle Mariners are now trailing the Houston Astros by 2 whole games in that division. That's what the MLB is looking like as we are going to jump right into what's going on today. Looking at because today is Thursday, there are going to be no games on prime time because, of course, there's other sports going on. At 1:10, the reigning American League champs and the American League leading Tampa Bay Rays are going to host the Oakland Athletics in Tropicana Field. They're going to be led out by Josh Fleming, who right now has a 1-0 record and has yet to allow an earned run. Cole Irvin is going to make the start for the Oakland Athletics. At 2:10 in Chicago, Jimmy Lambert and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Logan Gilbert and the Seattle Mariners. White Sox are currently leading the American League Central. Logan Gilbert enters his matchup with having not won or lost a game, but he's holding a 1.8 ERA. At 5:14 in American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Milwaukee Brewers, led by their former All-Star Brandon Woodruff, are going to host the St. Louis Cardinals, who are leading the division, and they're going to be led by Adam Wainwright. Wainwright enters his matchup with a 1-0 record, having yet to allow an earned run. At 6:35 in PNC Park in Pittsburgh, JT Brubaker and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Joan Adon and the Washington Nationals. At 6:40, Sandy Alcantara and the Miami Marlins are going to host Kyle Gibson and the Philadelphia Phillies in Lone Depot Park. At 7:05 in Yankee Stadium, Luis Severino and the New York Yankees are going to host Kevin Gausman and the Toronto Blue Jays. At 8:05 in Globe Life Field, Dane Dunning and the Texas Rangers are going to host the Los Angeles Angels, led by their elite starting pitcher, last year's American League MVP Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani enters his matchup with a 0-1 record, holding a 1.93 ERA. At 8:10 on ESPN+, Joe Musgrove and the San Diego Padres are going to host Charlie Morton and the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves. At 8:10, Zach Greinke and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Casey Mize and the Detroit Tigers in Kauffman Stadium. At 8:40 in Coors Field, Kyle Freeland and the National League West leading Colorado Rockies are going to host Justin Steele and the Chicago Cubs. Last but not least, at 10:10 in Dodger Stadium, the LA Dodgers, led by their elite starting pitcher Walker Buehler, are going to host Luis Cessa and the Cincinnati Reds. So, of course, going to be a lot of games going on there. Taking a look at what's going on outside of the United States in the world of soccer. In the second leg of Champions League, we were able to see the final 2 matchups of this round as the last 2 teams would advance to the semifinals. The 2 teams that would advance would be Manchester City and Liverpool. Coming into this matchup, the 2 teams that qualified before were the 2 Spanish teams that made it to this round. The 2 Spanish teams that made it, at least that were playing yesterday, Villarreal and Real Madrid. The third Spanish team, Atletico Madrid, would fall short to at Manchester City. But looking at the Atletico-Manchester City matchup real quick, of course, coming into this matchup, Atletico Madrid would finish second in their group to Liverpool. In the round of 16, Atletico Madrid would make it through after they went on to beat Manchester United 2-1 on aggregates. Manchester City would make it to this round after winning their group with PSG by just 1 point in the table. And in the round of 16, they would go on to beat Sporting Lisbon by 5 by aggregate. And in the very first leg of this matchup, Man City took a 1-0 lead off of a Kevin De Bruyne goal. The second matchup would be a 0-0 draw, but because Manchester City was able to get that goal in that first leg, they will advance to the semifinal of Champions League on aggregate, as they are slated to play against Real Madrid. Their first game will be at home on April 26th, and their second matchup will be at Real Madrid the very next Wednesday. But taking a look at the second matchup, that would see a second English team advance to the semifinal round. Liverpool would face off against Benfica. Looking at how both of these teams would even make it here. Liverpool would make it out of their group after winning every single game in the group stage. Once they made it to the round of 16, Liverpool would go on to beat Inter 2-1 on aggregate. And then looking at how Benfica would make it here, they were the only team out of Portugal to make it to the quarterfinal round, after they would go on to finish second in their group with Bayern Munich. Once they made it to the round of 16, they ended up beating Ajax 3-2 to advance to this quarterfinal leg. In the first leg of this matchup, Liverpool overtook Benfica 3-1, with their goals coming from Ibrahima Konate and Sadio Mane in the first half. Darwin Núñez would have Benfica's lone goal in the second half, as Luis Diaz would finish it off for Liverpool. And then, of course, coming into this game with a 3-1 advantage, Liverpool was able to draw with Benfica 3-3. And looking at how these matchups would go, the first goal of this matchup was scored by Liverpool's Ibrahima Konate to put them up 4-1 on aggregates. The Benfica would score their first goal of the game from Gonzalo Ramos before it would be the half. So Liverpool was up by 2 aggregate. They were up 4-2 at the half. In the second half, they would see a brace from their Brazilian striker Roberto Firmino to go up 6-1 on aggregates, which would virtually put them into the next round. Following that, Roman Yaremchuk and Darwin Núñez to score the last 2 goals of this aggregate matchup, making it a 3-3 draw. Since Liverpool would score 6-4 in this aggregate, Liverpool will be the team that advances to the second round to the semifinal round of Champions League. They will be facing off against the reigning Europa League champs Villarreal on Wednesday, April 27th, and the next matchup will be on Tuesday, as that will be the first second leg matchup to determine who will go and advance to the Champions League final. But that is what soccer is currently looking like right now. But taking a look at what's going on today, because today will be the second leg of Europa League matchups in a completely different tournament. Looking first at what's going on in Italy, Atalanta is going to host RB Leipzig. Looking first at where they're sitting, it looks as though Atalanta enters this matchup, as the 8th best team in Italy. RB Leipzig enters this matchup as the 4th best team in Germany. Looking at how we have gotten to at least this point in the table, Atalanta would make it through the round of 16 after they beat Leverkusen 4-2 on aggregates. RB Leipzig would make it to the quarterfinal round after they went on to, looking at how they were able to make it here, RB Leipzig was able to advance past Spartak Moscow because of reasons. But in the first leg of this matchup, RB Leipzig and Atalanta would tie up at 1-1 after the first goal was scored by Atalanta in the first half. Then RB Leipzig would even it up in the second half off of an own goal. So they come into this matchup with a 1-1 aggregate. Looking at another matchup at 3 o'clock, FC Barcelona, the marquee team that is playing in this tournament, will be hosting Eintracht Frankfurt at 3 o'clock. As going into this matchup, Barcelona they were able to make it through into this round after they were able to beat Galatasaray 2-1 on aggregates. Eintracht Frankfurt made it to this round after they beat Real Betis 3-2 on aggregates. Looking at how the first leg of this matchup went, it ended up as a 1-1 draw. Eintracht's lone goal came from Ansgar Knauf in the 48th minute of that first game, and Ferran Torres would score the lone goal for Barcelona. But that is how we are here in the second leg. Looking at jumping out to France, Olympique Lyonnais is going to host West Ham, as Lyon and West Ham were able to make it through that round of 16. Lyon beat Porto 2-1 on aggregates in the round of 16. And then West Ham was able to make it to this round after beating Sevilla 2-1 on aggregates after a 2-0 second leg. In the first leg of this quarterfinal matchup, West Ham would draw with Liverpool 1-1. West Ham scored the first goal of this matchup from Jared Bowen in the 52nd minute. Tanguy and Ndombele finished with the 66th minute goal. So, of course, this is a 1-1 aggregate. Many people are going to be looking forward to seeing what happens out of this. And then last but not least, jumping out to Scotland, the Rangers are going to host Braga. As looking at how Rangers was able to make it here, Rangers would make it through the round of 16 after they went on to beat Crvena Zvezda 4-2 on aggregates. And of course, their opponent Braga would beat Monaco 3-1. In total aggregates. And looking at how the first leg of this matchup went, Braga would beat Rangers 1-0 off of their goal from Abel Ruiz. And because of this goal, they now hold a 1-0 aggregate lead, as this next game will be played at Rangers. But that is what I have for you today for Thursday, April 4th, 2022. I want to thank the NBA, the ESPN, the MLB, and the FIFA websites for giving me all the figures and stats that I need. Once everything is done today, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Friday, April 15th for another episode. And of course, I will have an elite individual profile to do right after this. But with that said, I do want to thank everyone for listening. I do want to apologize for the names that I butchered along the way. I do eventually plan on getting them right. And I just want to thank you for just sitting along with me as we navigate this world of sports one day at a time. It is a crazy journey, but now it's kind of getting easier to kind of compartmentalize and put it all together. Thanks for listening. I do hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Thanks for listening to my piece, and peace out.